Now it's time for another edition of What Would Jello Do? Yeah, I admit I too am pretty devastated and feel gut punched by what ultimately was a whimper instead of a bang in the form of the Mueller Report. What we know of it, but I have to keep reminding myself that even though not only did he not go after Trump, but I wasn't really expecting Don Jr. to skate. I wasn't expecting Jared Kushner to skate. I mean, the stuff they were doing was so blatant. How could it not be collusion over something, even if it was just business deals or having fun playing gangster like their families have for who knows how many generations? But still, this, they're trying to tamp it down. Okay, now let's save Obamacare. Okay, that's the way it goes. Well, we have to remember that is not the way it goes. But I guess, first of all, I was kind of expecting this. I have to remind myself I shouldn't be that surprised because I've had my heart, spirit, and being an American citizen broken in half before. Big time heartbreak. Watergate, at least Nixon got run out of town on a rail, and a lot of people who really need to go to prison did go to prison. Contragate was very different. It was way worse stuff, too, selling arms to Iran, the Contras, our own terrorist group, financing them with drug money that helped create the crack epidemic that even Maxine Waters has backed that part up. And for the most part, yeah, they skated. And unindicted co-conspirators like Robert Gates just moved further and further up in government and was even Obama's defense secretary. I wish I didn't have such quite a head for white-collar crime and the names involved, but watching the Watergate people rise higher with Reagan and the Contragate people rise higher with W, it just goes on and on. And really, people, when was the last time the FBI were really the good guys? This is J. Edgar Hoover's COINTELPRO FBI still, after all. I mean, when was the last time they were on the side of the people? The X-Files? That's about the only one I can think of. And let's not forget, straight arrow or not, Mr. Mueller was George W. Bush's FBI director, which means he was also, more importantly, Dick Cheney's FBI director. And these things happen periodically. I mean, I know people whose, last, vision that America was really America just got destroyed because of Brett Kavanaugh, who is now safely on the Supreme Court to rule that no, none of those committees in Congress could ever get access to any documents that they are legally allowed to see. But this happens from time to time. It just has me reeling, thinking back of, say, John Yates, my old friend who did a lot of art for alternative Tentacles, and myself was wanting pictures from the original Police Truck single, one of which was that billboard macho joining the LAPD with Kill the Pig spray painted on it. And that reminded me of the book, Ando Sangrando, by Armando Morales. It came from detailing how violent the LAPD were on Chicanos and activists in East LA in the late 60s, early 70s. They even assassinated an LA Times reporter named Ruben Salazar during the middle of a demonstration. He was stopped for a drink in a bar, and they went to the bar, fired a tear gas canister straight into his head and killed him on the spot, and of course got away with it. It was not long before this that the Chicago PD and Mayor Daley decided we'll show those Black Panthers who's boss, and machine gunned Fred Hampton and Mark Clark to death through the walls of their apartment while they were sleeping in their beds. And the Panthers' response was just to walk the news media through the scene. I remember seeing just those blood-drenched beds on the evening news as a kid. They would never show that now, of course. Let's just cut to our panel of old shop-worn pundits and see if they talk about it for the next 20 minutes. Then we'll go on to something else. Wasn't like that then. It was more reality-based. So what we do now, basically for one thing, we got to hold on to our heads, hold on to our old lives, love our cats even when they interfere with broadcasts of What Would Jello Do? Over there, Moon Unit, please. And remember, there are good things. There's music, there's sex, there's the great outdoors, there's dogs and cats, there's life, and there's all doing what we can to fight the power that be, not just because we have to, and it's going to get even worse if we don't, but deep down, it is fulfilling. It may not always be fun, but it's much better to try and make a little history than just sit on the sidelines and watch it get as sick as it's gotten now.